To us, magic sounds like this extraordinary thing, pulling a rabbit out of the hat, coming out of nowhere. But it's here, it's real, and the more that we are open to the unseen, to the energies of this world, to abundance and manifesting, to calling in and growing, the more we'll be able to call magic into our lives. Join me as I share stories, wisdom, and curiosity around connecting with your higher frequency, tapping into the synchronicities of the universe, and opening up to the unseen possibilities that this world has to offer. I am your host, Dayna Faye, and this is the Ordinary Magic Podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Ordinary Magic Podcast. Today, I have on Courtni Allison. Hi, Courtni.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on. I am going to introduce you, and then we can dive into all things about the nervous system today. Courtni Allison is an embodied leadership coach and mentor who, through the work of the nervous system and somatics, helps women powerfully overcome their inner limits and play big the body-led way. She is a trained holistic life coach, breathwork facilitator, and nervous system guide who is passionate about helping women expand on a deep level from within. This is huge, Courtni. I am so excited to talk about our nervous system because we can't really tap into our intuition or tap into the knowledge that our body is trying to give us if we're all wired and frenzied and that happens literally like every day in just this modern world.
So much so. Yeah. I've loved taking this work with the nervous system and applying it kind of in the intuition way, more in the following our inner guidance and all of that can seem a bit woo-woo, a little out there, but really bringing the nervous system piece into this conversation helps us navigate it in more of a grounded, anchored in way. And so I love just like being able to have this conversation for people that are wanting to travel down a path of following their heart, their intuition, but doing it from a place where they can actually trust those messages inside of our body. And so much of that comes down to that nervous system connection piece that we have with ourselves.
Yes, I love that. And when somebody's going through a spiritual awakening and they're just starting to tap into their intuition or talk to their guides, there's a difference between hearing some things or actually, like you said, interpreting what's going on. Like, what's the difference between maybe mental anxiety or actually tapping into your intuition, which is very fascinating. So I would love to hear your backstory. How did you get to this point? I checked out your website before this, and do you know your human design energy type at all?
I'm a generator.
Okay. I just had the feeling from your website that you were I actually thought maybe you were a manifesting generator, but that you were definitely a sacral being. I could just all the certifications you have and your background. And I was like, oh, this girl is interested in a lot of things that have to do with the body and health and your nervous system. So how did you start getting into this work? And I know becoming a mom is the first time that I felt my nervous system being imbalanced. So I'm sure that also played a role in your life as well. So let me know when you started doing this work and give us a little backstory.
Yeah, gosh, I wish I knew about this work or understood what I know now when I started having kids, because it would have made a lot of sense for, struggles that I had back in the day. So I just now have a 6-week-old. And so I'm able to apply all that I know now to my current journey. And it's just been a really beautiful, beautiful process. But I've always been into health, nutrition, and fitness. And that's my initial background, is working with people on that nutrition level, that fitness level. And what I started to kind of find in that work with people is there was so much inner stuff still happening within them. It wasn't just about the food. It wasn't just about them being too tired to get to the gym. It was so many conversations that we were having about past stories or things that happened to them or thoughts that they had about themselves, right? And I started to be like, okay, there's something more here that I'm supposed to be helping women with. And things just kind of started coming my way. Certain people would start to pop up on Instagram. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Emotional eating. Okay, what's that about? And it was kind of just everything just connected on my path with kind of where I'm at now with the work that I do. But also my own personal journey is around that same time that I got into doing the nutrition coaching and the fitness coaching. I was also going on my own personal development journey. I was reading Tony Robbins, and I went to his Unleash the Power Within, and I was reading all the very mindset, change your life, up level your life books and events and all of that. And for me personally, it wasn't quite clicking. I was still having a lot of like fear of judgment and fear of success, or like putting myself out there. I had my own inner stories of, let's say, self-doubt and not being good enough, etc. And so I'm doing this work with people, but I'm having my own kind of inner journey as well. And so when I started down this path of the somatics and the nervous system and the body work and getting in touch with our emotions, I realized this is the work that I need to do on myself. And it's also the work that I'm starting to be really passionate about helping other people do. So it was just like this big, I'm like using my hands right now as like this big circle, right? It's just like, okay, my journey went there to help others, but then it was also what I needed at the same time. And so it's just kind of evolved into where I'm at now. It's a lot of nervous system based stuff, emotional reconnection. I also am a breathwork facilitator. So I love to weave in breathwork with all that and just all the somatic work, everything that we desire, everything we do, everything we think, it all comes down to our nervous system and what we've kind of imprinted into that. So being able to work on that level it shifts everything.
Wow. And I can feel your sparkly generator energy as you talk about this. I'm like, yep, this is aligned for you. Like I can feel it. It's so fun. I would love to learn from you today in regards to your nervous system. Are your emotions like so connected to the health of your nervous system? Like, is that something you work with a lot with clients, is their emotions?
Yes. So something I like to tell my clients that usually is like a big light bulb moment is our emotions are not the same thing as our feelings. They're not the same thing as what's going on in the body, right? But so often we take a certain feeling, a sensation, and we create meaning around that. We create the emotion around what that means. And then usually from that emotion, we create these stories, right? And so a lot of the emotion shifting work is about getting into the body and being able to sit with the sensations that our mind has created stories around. And we create the emotion of sadness around a certain feeling in the body. And so a lot of times we can almost keep ourselves trapped if we're not allowing ourselves to be able to feel just like at an observing level of like, oh, interesting. When I'm feeling this sadness, there's this feeling happening in my stomach. But that sensation in your stomach is not necessarily the same thing as the emotion, as the story. But we hold those so tightly together that anytime we feel that certain sensation, we instantly go to the story of, this happened and so I'm sad and, et cetera, et cetera. And so this for me is where mindset work falls a little bit flat, is because we are only getting to the emotion level and thinking, okay, I got to change that, right? I got to change the story that's making me sad. But what's even below that is the sensation, right? It's what's happening in the body. And it's those sensations that the nervous system is basically receiving and sending out throughout the body. And so the nervous system is what's holding on to all of these messages and kind of communicating maybe with the brain. And so that's why getting deeper into the sensation level, the nervous system level, to shift a lot of those stories is so much more like of a deeper transformation, because we're shifting at the very first kind of communication piece that happens. Sometimes it's not even, we're not even like aware that we're feeling a certain thing, right? A certain sensation in our body. It's just immediately we're to a story. So being able to have a more body awareness helps to then navigate the emotional realm, which then helps you with the mind realm.
That's so fascinating. And I've recently been walking through a realization that your perception, your mind can really create stories. And that's what you're talking about. I want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. So when somebody says like, just sit in your emotions, and feel it out. You're saying though that because of our nervous system just being wound up by life's experiences, that sometimes we have a story around our emotions. So every time we feel sad or angry, we might think like, oh no, I need to,
do something.
Yeah, like I need to do something about it. So you're saying that's not true. That's our nervous system kind of playing a trick on us with our emotions.
I wouldn't say it's playing a trick on you, but it's playing what it knows. It's playing past memory of at one point in time, this happened and we felt this, and then we created this story. And so now it has this memory. It's called somatic memory, right? The body holds this memory of a feeling. And then that sends that message to the brain saying, okay, we're feeling this. What memory would you like to create from this? What message, what story would you like to create from this? And the brain, unfortunately, sometimes doesn't make the best story for us, right? And so if we're in, let's say, a more dysregulated state in general with our nervous system based off the environment or unfortunate childhoods, there's so many things, most likely the brain is going to make a story of something not so good because of the nervous system dysregulated state, right? So it's not so much that the nervous system is tricking you, but it's just saying, hey, do you remember this feeling? Like we have a memory saying that this isn't a good place to be. We should probably get out of here, or we should fight. There's all those kind of like protective mechanisms that we create to keep us from being harmed, right? That's ultimately what our nervous system is doing. It's trying to keep us from being harmed. So that might look like saying, no, I'm out of this relationship, right? If we have that protective mechanism of running, or we might, right, fight back if our protective mechanism is that fight response, right? So these are just the ways, though, that we've kind of adapted and learned how to approach then life situations based off of the memory, based off the sensations that our nervous system felt and created kind of this pattern.
That is so huge. And as you're saying that, not that us as parents have to put more pressure on ourselves, but it's just so huge of the childhood experiences that we had that is conditioning our nervous system. And so as you were speaking, I am just thinking like, oh my gosh, one of my biggest duties as a mom is to regulate my nervous system, because kids can pick up on that so easily. And if we're dysregulated, they're going to be dysregulated. And then the cycle kind of continues, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And think of our nervous system too as the memory keeper of everything. Anything we've ever experienced, anything we've thought, anything we felt, anything we've gone through, it all gets embedded in some shape or form into our nervous system. And then it's the nervous system that basically sends messages to our entire body, to our muscles, to our organs, to our brain. So it really is this memory keeper and also this piece that's in control of everything, which is why getting at that deeper level can really help you shift and navigate a lot of your responses to life and a lot of your thoughts and your emotions in different ways.
That's so cool. And I really like what you said, like being on a self-help journey and intellectualizing everything can only get you so far. And then you have to actually do the deep work, which is like, oh, I was just having fun. Now I actually have to sit with my nervous system and do the work. So for people who are like, okay, I'm on board. I want to tap into what my nervous system is like currently. And I want to start doing some practices that will help calm it, helps steady it, help my nervous system be healthier. Where do you usually start with clients?
I love that question. So I love to educate my clients on the basics of the nervous system, because if we can understand ourselves, right, then we can start to navigate life in a more powerful way. So I start with clients on just some basic understandings of the nervous system, understandings of how to safely get in touch with the nervous system and feel into the body. So a lot of the things I start people with might seem really simple and basic, but a lot of times more of the fancier like meditations and inner child work and all of that, a lot of times that's still very intellectualized. And so I help my clients just start tapping into their body in a very gentle, simple way of just like noticing their feet on the ground, right? Or noticing their body in the chair, starting to look around and orient to the room. Like these are very basic things. But when we get in, let's say, more of a heightened state, a lot of times that body connection with where we're at goes out the window, and we just start scanning for like, what's wrong? What do I need to do? How do I get out of this? And so there's some really basic nervous system tools of just bringing yourself back to the present moment, helping your body, your nervous system realign to safety, to, being connected to where you're at. So you're helping your body feel safe. You're helping bring yourself back into the present moment. Because a lot of times when we go in those kind of dysregulated fight or flight responses, or even like a freeze response, which is our response of I'm in danger, something's wrong, I've done wrong, this isn't okay. A lot of times we're okay, right? Everything's all right. So we have to bring ourselves back to the present moment, be in our body, remind that we're safe and connected. And then that can bring like pathways back to regulation so that we can come back into this like, all right, I'm all right. Nothing bad is really happening, but it's so many of those patterns that we have of protection that cause us to just continue that spiral of dysregulation. So I like to honestly start simple with clients because it's some of those basic foundations that if you go past them, then sometimes it's too much for them. So I always start like foundational, basic nervous system work with everybody.
The bigger, fancier stuff we can sometimes make too complicated instead of just like back to basics. This is how we calm our nervous system.
Yep.
So how important is breathing when it comes to your nervous system?
Well, breathing is so important. Basically, our breath pattern will show you an inside look at what is happening in your nervous system. So there is every emotional state, every physiological state you might be experiencing is basically shown through what's going on in your breath. So your nervous system, both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, so these are like the rest, digest part, and also the fight or flight, they have all their like fingers in the lungs at various points. So the breath is very deeply connected to our emotional states. It's very deeply connected to our physiological states, to that nervous system. So the breathing is everything. And again, with clients, I like to start very simple of just starting to notice. This is something that I've seen happen time and time again in the breathwork space is I see facilitators just pushing people into these like super intense breath patterns and like emotional releases. And that's not always what might be the best route for every client. There might be some people that can really handle that. But if you're coming to me and you want to do breath work, like we're going to start again with the basics and just learn to get to know your breath, which to me is more indicative of helping you navigate what's going on within you instead of just like forcing yourself into a different breath pattern. And I had many people coming to me saying I had really bad experiences with those bigger breath work sessions. And they're like, I'm really scared to do breath work, and I'm like, like it was such a disservice to the power of breath work. And so with that, I really began understanding we need to be going more gentle with people, right? Like our nervous system only needs a little bit increments at a time. But when we come in and we just like throw it into this big, massive, let's say emotional thing with a too big of a breath work experience, we're frying the nervous system. Like the nervous system is saying, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
This is so much. If we throw people in too fast, too soon, that they can't handle it, we're doing a disservice to their nervous system and to the actual healing capacity that that it's meant to have. As you can tell, I'm really passionate about this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the nervous system is a sensitive part of our body. And yeah, there's a fine line. And I even remember learning that in my 200-hour yoga,
Yeah.
the teacher being like, okay, you guys, like oftentimes when you're teaching, you hit their nervous system more by being like, sit up straight and breathe this way. And like, she's like, they're supposed to come here to calm down. So
really vital need of our nervous system to be in a regulated state, in a place where it can take in life and stay present, is choice. So when we take away people's choice or their perceived sense of choice, right? Like sit up straight, do it this way. We're taking away their choice. And so we're kind of pushing them into more of a dysregulated state because their nervous system is saying, oh, I don't have choice here. I just have to do this, just like this, right? And so as, let's say, coaches or facilitators, it's really important to use invitational language. Like maybe if it feels good to you, maybe you'd like to sit up. Would you like to lay down? There's a lot of giving them options. And so that choice, we're bringing that option of choice back into their experience. And that little shift too of giving people choice can be something that helps them feel more empowered in life, because a lot of times we're not given choice early on.
Yeah.
I know like traditional school is where I always go back to. It's like, you have to sit still, don't move, raise your hand to go to the bathroom, like look at the teacher, don't talk. That choice piece was taken from a lot of us growing up, just let's say in traditional schools. And so now as adults, it's sometimes hard for us to, let's say, speak our mind or speak our truth or do what we want to do because we don't have too many somatic memories of being able to use our voice, right? To have that choice.
I definitely.
So it's really important.
Yeah, I resonate with that a lot from my personal experience. I tend to have this like feeling like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I definitely wonder if that comes from childhood of just, like you said, being told what to do. I did not enjoy school at all. And wow. That's eye-opening. I am quickly interrupting this episode to tell you about my human design offerings. Are you wanting to learn more about what your human design is all about? I am able to help you apply it to your life and start living your design today. I offer a human design audio guide, which is a great entry level into your human design. We go over the most important layers, which are your energy type, strategy, authority, your biggest gift in this world, your profile, and your life theme. I also offer a full 90-minute human design reading over Zoom, and that includes a very robust document that you get to take home as well. The full reading are for people who know they want to dive deep right away, or people who have already started their human design journey and want to start applying it to their life. You can find your human design audio guide or the full human design reading on my website at daynafaye.com. That's DAYNAFAYE.com. I hope to connect with you soon. How important is your diet in regards to your nervous system and exercise, I guess I would argue as well, especially since you have a background in this? I mean, I had a matcha this morning. I had some caffeine, but like, how much does caffeine influence us, or maybe sugar? We can be doing all this breath work, but like, if we're not also making sure we're putting the right things in our body, how important is that?
Beautiful. I love this question because again, I feel like it's either, and you see this in like a coach who's a coach for this or a coach for that. And they're like, it's this is the most important thing, right? And this is the most important thing. And it's important to have this holistic view of it. Nutrition is very important for our nervous system. The way we move, right? And how we hold our body and all of that. And exercise, that's very important for our nervous system. But also the relationships we're in, that's important for our nervous system. The environment we're in, the way we feel what's going on in our body, like that somatic connection, that's very important too. So it's not just like, this is the most important thing. Like they all play a very important role in what's going on in your body. So like with caffeine necessarily isn't bad for you, but it's also, are you nourishing your body before you have the caffeine, especially as women. So you're not going on this massive cortisol spike when you drink the caffeine. If you've nourished your body with protein and fat before you've had the caffeine, then that cortisol spike isn't this massive thing, and our body can handle that. And the hormone blood sugar regulation is good. So I think it all depends on, it's not just the coffee. It's not just the caffeine. It's how are you nourishing your body? What's the state of your hormones? But then also, do you have a story around needing the coffee, right? And you're not in touch with your body. Maybe you're in this like anxious state because other things are happening and you're not in touch with your sensations and you don't know how to process that. And so again, you have a story of needing the coffee, right? Or needing the sugar or the cookie or the wine or all the things. So to just say like this is what you need to focus on is hard to do. They all have a very important role. And I think that's the beauty of having people that specialize in different areas, is they can all kind of like synergistically help with that. But yeah, they're all important.
I love your answer. So the answer is, if you can't figure it out on your own, go work with Courtni so you can figure it out, because it's not a one size fits all. It might be the environment you're in, the relationships, the food you're eating, the exercise, the work you're doing, it could be everything and anything. And that whole saying of like, oh, I numb out, like I watch TV to numb out, or I drink some wine to numb out. That's your nervous system.
Yes, exactly. That's your nervous system saying, I've had too much. There's been too much stimulation, or I've had too much anxiety for the day. It goes out of this little window. We have each our own set window of tolerance of like, what can I handle today and still stay present? When we go out of that, it could be too many emails in a day. It could be scrolling too much. It could be not getting the right nourishment in the day, not having the right diet, not getting movement. There's so many factors in this window. Yeah. But when we go out of that window, that's our nervous system saying, I need to go offline for a bit because I can't handle anymore. Like I just can't be present. And so that like, I just need to numb out is a telltale sign that you have pushed your nervous system into too much, right? And we can work to expand that window. It's not just this set window that we have, that we're born with, and then that's all it is, right? It's this window that can either go really small, and so any little thing pushes you out. But the work that I do, that I love to do with my clients, is helping to expand that window so that there is a lot of things that we can hold and handle in our day, even if it's stress, right? Even if it's a lot of hard moments, we have a big window to hold that and to stay present in ourselves without the need of numbing out, without the need of going to all of these external things. Like we're still able to access our power within without having something else to, get us back to the baseline.
That is so motivating, because at the beginning of our conversation, I was like, oh my gosh, like our modern world is not set up for a steady nervous system.
It's not.
But to know that we can do things like, I imagine, if you have 5 minutes between work, or maybe even getting out of your car before you go into the house or go pick your kids up, instead of quickly scrolling Instagram to see what your favorite influencer is doing, like sit and just feel your feet on the floor, feel your butt on the chair, feel your back against the seat, take a big inhale through your nose, exhale it out, like relax your shoulders, relax your forehead, relax your eyebrows, like just do the basics. And if you start to do some of that throughout your day, you'll increase the capacity to regulate your nervous system.
Exactly. That is how you just said all of that is so perfect. And the more we do those little moments, the more it grows, right? Our nervous system needs the practice of it. It needs the experience of, I was just really stressed. Oh, okay, we're having some grounding time. Beautiful. It starts to like almost trust you. Like I'm talking as though our nervous system is separate than us, which it's not. But you can look at it as like probably all these years, it hasn't trusted you to give it what it needs, right? Those moments of safety, those moments of connection, of choice. But when we can start bringing in these moments little by little, the nervous system starts to trust that it's going to get its needs met. And so it starts to open up this window a little bit more. Oh, I know that I'm going to get my need met. So, okay, I'll relax a little bit more. Okay, I can handle a little bit more because I know that I'm going to have these moments of regulation come in. And so we're just building and building and building that window of what we can hold. But if we don't do that work again and again and again throughout our day, it's like seizing. Like I never get what I need, right?
Yes.
When you don't get what you need, you start going into like vicious animal mode. And so that's what our nervous system, though, has to have. It's those little moments. And I think sometimes people think, oh, I have to do this 30-minute practice, right? One time a day, 4 days a week. And it doesn't work like that. Our nervous system learns through lived experience. And so if we can just have 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. Oh, normally I would be really triggered here, or I'd go into a dysregulated pattern. But instead, I felt my feet on the ground and I looked around and realized I'm safe. That right there can be all the little shift that you need to go a new direction.
That's amazing.
But it has to have those little by little moment experiences.
Yes. Build it.
Ordinary magic, right?
Yes. Bring just the ordinary stuff into your life like that, and you will feel magic.
Yeah. It's the ordinary walking your feet on the earth, the ordinary looking in the sky and getting your eyes in the sun, or looking around and just noticing things that are beautiful. Like those are the moments that create the capacity to see the magic.
Yes, I have chills. That's amazing. Thank you for that reminder today, Courtni. That was so beautiful. I feel so motivated to start to tune into my nervous system more. And I think I do. I am that person who's like 40-minute meditation instead of just
this personal development world that we're like, what can I do? Right? Like, give me all the tools. And it's like, and I have to remind myself, and I have to remind my clients that are more like purpose driven and high achievers. It's like, all right, let's just be here for a second. What's your feet doing? What? Why am I noticing my feet? I'm like, just trust me, and it's those little things that we get to shift that bring us back.
And then the results come. And that's the lesson for just anything you're doing in life. Usually the like not so sexy thing is the thing that you should be doing. And then it is sexy. And then your results are like, yes, I have the secret. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you so much, Courtni, today for teaching us all about our nervous system and how we can work with it and how incredibly important it is. Is there any other last message you'd like to share? Any type of pattern you're seeing with your clients, or anything you have on your heart?
I think the message that comes through is we're taught not to trust ourselves. We're taught kind of not to trust our emotions or overpower your emotions, and just think greater, right? And I just invite you to come back into the body and just listen, just notice what's going on. Take away the need to understand, take away the judgment of certain ways you're feeling, and just start connecting and feeling and just trusting that what's happening inside you is okay. Like your body is not trying to hurt you. Your body is not trying to take you in the wrong direction. Your emotions are not trying to make you fail. Like they're asking for your healing. They're asking to be looked at, to be held. And when we can start trusting those and listening to those and holding those parts of us, that's when kind of these parts of us that we try to get out of or get rid of, that's when those start feeling held and accepted, and they start to shift on their own. So just the invitation to gently just listen to your body and trust what's going on inside of you.
Thank you. Thank you for that invitation. My listeners are going to love that. And thank you so much for being here today. Where can people find you?
So I like to hang out over on Instagram. It's just at Courtni Allison. So that's kind of where I do most of my posts and share offers and such that I have. But I also have my website, which is Courtni-Allison.com. And on there, I have like my different offerings. I have some self-paced courses that I've created. That would be a really great place for people to start. I have a mini course called Liberate, and it's really setting the foundation, like we've talked here today, of how to start working with yourself, your body on that somatic level and that nervous system level. So that would be a really great place for people to start. So those would be the two places. If you're interested in this work and doing this work with me, but you don't want to do one-on-one coaching, that would be probably the best place to start. And then I do have some really fun things in the works coming, some group programs and kind of a new revised one-on-one offer. So if you follow me on Instagram or get on my email list, like you'll be in the know for all of that too when I launch all that.
Yes, love it. Okay, follow Courtni at Courtni Allison. That's COURTNIALLISON. And then we'll get to stay in the know of what you have coming soon. And yeah, if you're just starting out, dive into one of her programs on her website and get started. Start regulating your nervous system. You won't be disappointed. Thank you so much, Courtni.
Thank you.
Ordinary Magic is a Lit Path Studios production, produced by Jamie Gale and Dayna Faye. Music is by Shane Ivers. Until next time, I wish you many powerful moments of ordinary magic.